Let's move on to the main event of this past UFC fight night. In the middleweight division, a a scrap between Joe Pyfer and Abdul Razak Alhassan, and Joe Pyfer comes out the victor, finishing Alhassan in the second round, the official time 2:05 of round number 2. Omar, start us off. Joe Pyfer looked big, got the big win. What are your thoughts in the aftermath?
Joe Pyfer looked gigantic, absolutely gigantic in there. Al Hassan did his best, I think, to try to manage the distance and manage the striking as much as he could, because I think that was really the area that he had the most, obviously, the most success in when it comes to winning that fight. I was listening to an interview that he was giving with Kenny Florian and John Anik, and he was talking about how Al Hassan got him with a couple good calf kicks that had him a little fucked up, and he was like, I was trying to knock him out, but he got me with a few of those kicks, and I was like, fuck this, and he went for a takedown and, did what he knew he could do, which obviously leads me to believe he was probably playing with his food at that point, right? Trying to do something that he didn't necessarily need to do, not necessarily taking the easiest route to victory from the beginning of the fight, trying to show off a little bit. And I'm just concerned that that's something later on in his career, as he's trying to rise up the ladder, that he's going to fuck around and find out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like 185 might be a good place for him, just because he seems to be a much bigger guy. He says he has trouble making 185, so I don't think we'll see him there for long. At some point, he's probably going to be he's probably going to be a 205 pounder, probably in the near future, I would imagine. But he says he basically dies to get to 185.
That definitely takes away a little bit of what makes him so interesting as a middleweight.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the size and strength that he has, and at 205, that's a bit more ordinary.
Yeah. His skill, though, especially his wrestling specifically and his jiu-jitsu, I think that does separate him even at light heavyweight.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying one of his current advantages sort of goes away a bit. But no, he's good. Were you done? I'll just take it from here.
Oh, yeah, you're good. Yeah.
Hop in, man.
But yeah, he's a scary man. His athletic and natural gifts are many. And I'm not sure that he won't get exposed technique-wise at a certain point. I don't know yet how buttoned up I feel that his technique is. I don't feel like he's had the appropriate matchups for us to 100% be able to make that read. But either way, it's starting to feel like it may take some top guys to be able to expose that, because he is looking like the real deal, like a dangerous fighter who will walk you down and can finish you in a lot of ways. And that's what he did here. He showed off the hands. Alhassan wasn't having an easy time on the feet at all. He couldn't get off. He even said it in his corner that he felt like he couldn't get off. And then as soon as he started playing the calf kicks, you saw Pyfer was able to just go to the wrestling, and the takedown that finished it was an enormous slam, and then he just seamlessly moves into the arm triangle choke, and he puts Alhassan out. So that's a hell of a statement from him in a big co-main event spot with the spotlight on him. He maximizes the mic time as well. Big night for Joe Pyfer.
Absolutely, man. I mean, the height disparity between him and Alhassan, I think, played a role, like optically, into him looking like such a huge middleweight. I know he's listed at only 6'1". So there are other middleweights that are absolutely going to sort of be eye to eye with him. But he looks like a giant 6'1". He's a giant jacked man. And he's got a lot of skills, man. And he put it all together against Alhassan. In the first round, I think he was definitely getting the better of the hands. In the second round, Alhassan was starting to mount a little bit of a comeback, starting to build his own momentum. And Pyfer was like, all right, I'm going to take you down. And he took him right down, like you said, with a huge slam, right into the submission. Very, very impressive stuff across the board from Joseph Body Bags Pyfer. With that being said, now he improves to 12-2 as a pro. Only one of his wins has gone to the scorecards, and that was very early in his career when he fought one time for CES in the Northeast. He's a finisher, guys. Omar, what would you do next at middleweight with Joe Pyfer?
Where are we putting this man? when it comes to the rankings. Mark, what do you have in the rankings now?
I shall share with you. I have him at number 23.
Oh, damn.
He's knocking on the door. He's knocking
He is
on
knocking
the
on the
door.
door.
Yeah, the Mearshart win, that's a pretty quality win.
Yeah.
That kind of jumps you past that middle of the pack at middleweight.
For sure.
I mean, do we want to keep moving him up? Do we want to give him somebody like Fluffy, who I feel like because Fluffy just pulled out of something, so he's not booked currently.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking because Joe, and he also said I did remember from this interview that he's not fighting until 2024. He's not cutting all that weight again before the end of the year. So
Pyfer said that?
yeah. So we could see Fluffy and Pyfer fight in early 2024.
I hope Fluffy gets a ranked opponent. I feel like he's already earned that.
Yeah.
But it could happen, and it's not a bad fight. But I'll go, I guess, similar guy in a similar area. I think he actually just lost to Fluffy. Now that I'm thinking about it, but I'll go with Edmund Shabazian. I do think that you could argue Pyfer already deserves a ranked opponent, but I'm gonna go one more before pulling that trigger, and I think Edmund is a guy who could maybe show us a little more of what happens when he's in there with someone with some higher level technique.
It's a great matchup. I do
Shabazian
agree. I
gets
think
run
that
over,
I want to see Anthony Hernandez get a big shot
Yeah,
because he's so good. Oh my God. Joe Pyfer, to me, he strikes me as more of like you're kind of and I don't mean this as any kind of detraction, like more of a typical middleweight. Like middleweight to me is the weight class where you start to see guys as big dudes who throw bombs. And Anthony Hernandez to me is a very interesting middleweight because I don't conceptually think of him as a middleweight. To me, he fights almost like a welterweight.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I agree,
know what I mean?
actually. Yeah.
I get that.
He's
I
more
get that.
skill. Like he's not like a Joe Pyfer or like there's a handful of guys that you could name that are like jacked 185ers who are gonna fucking knock you out.
Yeah, he's
And
not a
Hernandez is just
physically
like-
imposing man. He is, as one would say, a very fluffy.
Yes. Except not anymore.
Except not Fluffy, yeah.
It's a little fluff, mini fluff, light
probably-
fluff.
He probably earned that nickname when he
like
joined a gym, joined his gym and started training, and they called him Fluffy. But he's in great shape now.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's
He's not Joe Pyfer cut
a very
though.
good guess.
It's not fucking chiseled from USDA prime beef.
No, not many are that.
And now that there's no more USADA, spoiler alert for the Sphere.
Yeah, Jesus.
Dude.
Everybody's about to get a whole lot more juiced up, bro.
It can't be that it's just going away. Like it has to be that they already have some deal in place with some other company. Like they're not just fucking turning back to the wild west here.
We're not going to get into it right this second, but it sounds like the McGregor thing really pissed everybody off. Both sides.
Yeah, that was definitely a tipping point.
So I don't think they got anything really lined up just yet. I think they're kind of pissing in the wind, and they have till January 1st basically to get something in place.
Well, it could be that.
Yikes.
When was UFC 200? Were they working with USADA for 200?
They were. They had the exemption for Lesnar. That was the big hullabaloo.
Because I'm like, if they're pissed off about McGregor, they had to have been pissed off about Brock.
It's very possible that's why they're not doing it for McGregor, because they did it for Brock.
Yeah,
The whole thing is just so.
it all adds
like-
up. Do we want to say anything?
No, we'll save it. We'll save it for the Sphere.
We will say because that's
okay, yeah,
literally
let's
all I
stay on
have.
topic.
Because I know we
Let's
want
stay on
to
topic.
Real quick. Yeah, real quick. Do we want to say anything about Abdul Razak Alhassan's potential next opponent, or you guys want to move on?
I wrote a name down. I'll throw it out quick.
Do it.
Julian Marquez. I think that is a banger.
I don't hate that.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
is.
hate that.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I feel like Tresean Gore has a fight coming up soon. So if he wins that fight, I think that'd be the way to go.